Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Marketing Matters. I'm Sarah Touchstone, Landmark Title's social media marketing strategist and educator. I get the pleasure of bringing you guys Marketing Matters live every single Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Today, I am joined by Jessica Luck. She is with the Altos Research company, which is one of our amazing partners and tools that we offer here at Landmark Title for our realtors. We've done a couple of these presentations before, but this is always great information for you to utilize and to use with your clients. This is stuff that you can be sending out items of value almost daily if you so choose. So Jessica, I'm going to hand the reins over to you. I always love getting updates on what's going on with Altos and how we can really leverage this and be the people in the know when it comes to real estate in our community.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. I totally appreciate you having me. And I'm going to hop right into it. Those of you who've heard me speak before know that I go at lightning speed because there's just so much good stuff, right? So I want to make sure that we can get through. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. All right. That's not what we want there. Oh, okay. I'm going to start off. And so I'm going to share a couple of resources that are available to you. And if you don't have them already, I'm going to go ahead and follow up with an email to Sarah and supply these resources so that you have access to them. So this first one that we're looking at is how to use market data to build your real estate business. And how often do you get to ask the question, how's the market? Right? I was just on vacation. I was in Hawaii. And hey, what do you do? Well, I'm in real estate. I don't usually say data because, that's a little bit boring for some folks, but they'll always say, oh, well, how's the market in California, which is where I'm from. So I'm sure you guys get that question all the time. And so who is Altos? For those of you who don't know, we are a data company with the goal in mind to answer the question, how's the market today? Not how was the market last month? How was the market last quarter? But how's the market today? And what key indicators can we watch to kind of guide us to understand where the market is headed? Super important in markets like today, in markets like we've experienced over the last at least 4 years, where it's been a little bit bananas, right? So we capture the data, we put them in this really great format. And so hopefully many of you are already familiar with our market reports, but our second goal is to take that complex data and put it into an easy to understand format. And that's what we hope that we've done so that you can easily digest what's happening, but also help you convey what's happening to your audience, whoever they might be, right? So this tool here will help guide you through how you can incorporate market data into your business, right? In ways that you may not think of. It's an easy ebook. Okay. And I will send out the link to Sarah. She can distribute it. But it's things like, how do you navigate the report? What are the key statistics to watch? Right. And, a layout. What do the things mean? Here's what to watch. How do we dive in deeper? How do we answer buyer and seller questions using market data? What are the definitions of the statistics? So lots of great content within this ebook. And I would encourage you to take a look at it, print it if you can, because that way you can kind of mark it up and highlight the things that are really exciting for you or interesting to you, and ways that you can go ahead and incorporate that. Okay, so that's one. Now, the other resource is this, and you'll notice it's a little excerpt from the ebook. This will be your cheat sheet. This tool is a great overview of the components that make up the market report. We want to answer the question, how's the market today? We, again, take that complex data, put it into an easy to understand format. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's data. My big joke is if I go out onto the street and say, hey, do you want to look at some market statistics? Not everybody gets excited, right? Well, unless you're an engineer who's like, yeah, show it, bring it, right? Some people are very visual. I've been working with Altos for 14 years, so that's a long time, but I'm still very much a visual person. I like the layout. I want to have visual cues that kind of give me direction as to what am I looking at. And then you're going to have folks that are like far too intimidated to pay attention to charts, to look at the numbers. Just tell me like it is. And so we add content that gives descriptives as to what all of the data is trying to imply. Okay, awesome. So this is a high-level overview of the components that make up the report. And here's a list of the definitions of the statistics within the report and why the heck we care, right? Why is it important to keep an eye on those things? And it's so interesting to me, after all of the time I've been with Altos, how few people will ask questions about what the statistics mean. Why? They don't want to admit they don't know. It's unfortunate, but it's human nature. Okay. So why not go ahead and supply them answers to the questions they're never going to ask? And if you want to take it a step further, remember I mentioned key indicators to watch to gauge how we might see a shift in the market. Well, you have this document, print it, take a highlighter, and highlight percent price decreased. This is a statistic that is within the report that's super important. This is a statistic that says, hey, of the active inventory, what is the percentage of properties that have had to take some sort of a reduction since being put on the market? So the higher that number is, right, the more it's going to cool the market. But what's really important is to understand what is typical, what's normal, because not everybody does. So if you take a highlighter and you highlight this segment, it'll say 35% is normal for price decreases. So knowing that prior to going and looking at a report, awesome. You know where you stand. You can gauge where you're going. You can see where you've been, because our reports provide 13 weeks to look back. It's hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. Our reports are updated weekly, so you have fresh content every week to stay on top of what's happening in the market. It's awesome. Okay. Taking a look at that percent price decrease, see where you stand. Now, in addition to that, take that highlighter and highlight percent relisted. One very important thing to understand about the data that we provide is that it's solely based on the 100% active market. What does that mean? Yes, it's lists, but it's more than that. It's all of the 100% active inventory, therefore excluding pending and contingent. We track from list to pending. So the term absorbed for us is pending contingent removed, okay? So percent relisted is important to know, because that means we are going to capture when contracts fall apart, which is a big indicator. When people start backing out of contracts, when things start falling out of escrow, when, hey, I don't like my agent, I'm going down the street because they're not listening, whatever the case might be, when contracts start falling apart, you'll start seeing a cooling effect in the market. Well, 10% or less is typical. So highlight that, right? So super important there. What we're actually looking for when we look at that statistic is a increase quickly in a short period of time, okay? And so find out where you stand, see where you've been, and gauge where you're going, okay? So super important. This is your second resource. So ebook, and then you have this document as well, okay? So those are two things that will be sent. Now, when it comes to the data, what are we providing? Remember, we update it weekly. We focus on the 100% active market, excluding pending and contingent, great. But we provide reports at county level, which means it's going to take into account all active inventory for every city and zip code within Maricopa County, for example, right? Tons of inventory. It's nice to see, but it's super broad. I live in California in the Bay Area in Santa Clara County. No one's going to ask me, hey, how's the market in Santa Clara County? What part, right? In fact, we're going to say, well, what city? Phoenix. Well, Phoenix is like San Jose. How's the market in Phoenix? What part, right? If someone asks me, hey, how's the market in San Francisco? I'm going to say, what part? It's got crazy town over here. You've got high end over here. They're going to behave differently in the market. Important to know. That doesn't mean looking at Maricopa County isn't ideal. It's a great starting point. It doesn't mean that looking at Phoenix or Scottsdale isn't great. It's a good starting point, but you can drill down into a zip code as well. Okay. So we provide reports for countywide, citywide, zip code specific. Okay. So super important in that. Now, if you have our faces covering any part of this, I would recommend that you move it up because there are some important aspects to this report that I want to make sure that you can see. And up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see share and you'll see subscribe. So just make sure that you can see those. Now, up along the top, you'll see this URL. What this URL is unique to this location and landmark title branding, right? So anytime you click on this link, it's always going to give you the latest version of the report. Well, great. The report is updated weekly. Okay, well, when does that happen? You'll see that you've got your numbers here, right? You've got your image here. You've got your little excerpt here. Remember, everybody absorbs this information differently. But this is updated every Sunday afternoon. We stop capture on Friday, process the data over the weekend, publish on Sunday afternoon. The numbers that are presented here are as of Friday, okay? Now, we talked about the fact that this is all based on the 100% active inventory. That means this inventory data set excludes pending and contingent, right? So that's really important to note. But this also is just solely single family homes. So you'll notice here that we have houses selected. With the click of a tab, you'll go to condos and townhouses. We don't have multifamily, which is like fourplexes and things like that. So single units is what we focus on. But if it's a single unit shared wall, it will fall under condos or single family. Notice how everything updates, okay? So staying with single family homes, you'll go here on the right-hand side. It's our real-time market profile. This is our latest and greatest as of last Friday, okay? Now remember, that's what's being presented here, but you have 13 weeks to look back. This is an interactive report. That's what makes that engagement really great. Now, you'll want to make sure that you communicate with your clients, you know, what some of these things mean, but be sure to say, hey, listen, this is what's happening now. This goes back 3 months. That's pretty steady, right? Went up a little bit, came back down, but it goes all the way back to the very end of last year, right? Technically, we'll say beginning of this year, okay? Great, median list price is directly related to the inventory data set. So what is median price of new listings? And this comes up all the time. Median price of new listings is just the data set of new listings that came onto the market since our previous capture, the previous Friday. So whatever that number is, the median of that data set is right here. So what types of homes are coming onto the market, right? Price per square foot is pretty clear, but average days on market versus median days on market, what is that? This is one of my favorites. It's one of the best stories to really tell because it gives you insight that your clients aren't going to get otherwise. Why? We all look at average days on market. In fact, our reports used to just have average days on market, and it was just fine until COVID hit and inventory took a total nosedive, right? Well, no matter what area, there are stale pieces of inventory. So you have that piece of inventory that stays on the market and that number ticks up and doesn't really represent what's currently happening in the market. Remove the outliers. That's like having average list price and you have a $12 million home and all of a sudden it skews everything, right? Same idea. So average days on market is what everybody looks at with all of their different tools. And that's what is reported most often. And that's great and fine. But this number really doesn't reflect what's currently happening in the market as well as median days on market. In fact, Los Gatos, California, which is where I live, this was 107 when there were no homes like lasting to get to an open house. They were selling like hotcakes. 107, I kind of threw a fit, went to the data team, said, Come to find out, there were 2 homes on the market that had been just sitting there, not taking price reductions, just sitting there over a year, okay? Well, it's gonna skew things, right? We threw in median days on market, it was 7. Incredible, right? That was the insight that we needed, because you can't go to a buyer and say you have 100 days. They're never going to put their best foot forward. So when you see a gap between the two, this is not that significant, but it's still good enough. I'd rather tell somebody they have 35 days than 68 days, because that's going to have them be a little bit more prepared to play. So that's why we have both. And this is a great story to tell. Okay. Here's our price decreased. 35% is typical. You're sitting at 45, but go back, look how high it was, 54, 58, and it's come down. So you'll notice as this comes down, the heat of the market heats up. As the median days on market go down, the heat of the market goes up. Now, relisted 10% or less, right? Well, what's happening? 4%. Now it was up here, still under 10%. So this was really no concern. But if this all of a sudden started to tick up at a rapid rate in a short period of time, you'll start seeing a cooling effect in the market. Okay. So relisted inventory, we got median rent, we've got market action index. What in the world is that? It's a proprietary algorithm. It's a fancy term for private equation. It is the heart of our report, being able to answer, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market, and how much so? It's a series of supply and demand statistics tied up in a pretty bow with a weighted end result. And our data team determined that 30, which is what you'll see in our image here as that line. 30 is a balanced market. Anything greater than 30 as that weighted end result will then reflect a seller's market. Anything less is a buyer's market. I love this. It's a quick answer to the question, but it's also a quick answer to the question is, how does the market compare to this time last month? How? The green, now 47. The gray, running 30 days back. So you'll see that you see the little piece of white. That means it's just a hair hotter than it was this time last month. Okay. And if you go through all of our different reports, right? You go to Scottsdale, you'll see up, it's a cooler market there. Phoenix overall, right? So this is a citywide. It's hotter, right? It's a little hotter than it was last month. Go to the whole county. Okay. So you can see how that changes. Go to the zip code specific and you'll get more detailed information. Okay. So anytime you're in a situation where, hey, you can drill down to that zip code, awesome. You'll definitely want to do that. Okay. Now this here does a great job of answering that question, gives enough detail. So it's a good summary of sorts, right? But you've got more. You've got this chart in the middle. What if you're having a conversation, right? And you want to be able to give some context. You want to be able to look over the last 5 years. That's what this allows you to do. We update our reports every week. Over 5 years, it's going to be noisy, which is that dotted line. So we wanted to make sure that there was a way to view this where it's less confusing and more clear. And that's our 90-day average. What the heck is that? Well, it's the 13 weeks averaged out each week. So that is our trend line. So deselect that 7-day and focus on the trend. I think this looks great. This is where you're at now. These diamonds represent year over year. This is where you were this time last year, the year before. Here we are, 2021 and good old 2020. So take a ruler, take a pencil, look at that growth, okay? Awesome. So why have that 7-day if you've got the trend? Well, the 7-day provides leading indicators of change. This is implying that prices are increasing. Is that the case? You'll see the momentum in that 7-day before the trend kicks in. The reality is it's starting to level out, not continue to climb. So you'll see that in that 7-day. That allows you to do a little predicting. And so when you're working with clients, being able to share that, having them be ahead of the game, right? Being in the know before everyone else, it's a great feeling to have, right? Now, these reports are really great for helping overcome anxiety. Man, there's a lot of it these days. It's a complicated market right now. And so keeping clients informed about what's happening in the market is great. It's not that these are going to imply anything is spectacular. It's just keeping clients informed. If you walk blindly, you're going to carry anxiety. You show them the way, it's much better, right? It backs you up with whatever you already know. So 5 years. Now you can change these statistics and tell a story. Inventory. My goodness, do you remember this? For those of you in the industry at this time, it was bananas. I live in California. Where do you think everybody went in 2020? Arizona. Okay. So here's 2020. Inventory kind of ticked up and then whoo, plummet. And it tried a little bit, came back down. Yes, you kind of came back, but this is where you're at now, 130, when this was a typical market here, right? So it's just interesting to kind of keep an eye on this. Tells a story. Every image tells a story. Come down, market action index. Anybody wants to know the chaos that happened during COVID? Turn off that noise. Look at the roller coaster ride. If this doesn't paint a picture, I don't know what does, because this is literally what we lived through. This was when COVID hit. Things just went bananas. Driving 100 miles an hour, we could not sustain it. We dropped a bit, we came back up. But see this whole shenanigans caused a lot of turmoil. This is like we jumped off a cliff. And this is when people were like, oh, the market's crashing. Did it really crash? If you did not have a report and you felt what was happening, it felt like the market was crashing. When reality is, we took our foot off the gas. We started to coast, came back up, and we stabilized here. This is pre-COVID, 42. This is 47. We're just now stabilizing. So here's the calm before the storm. Here's the wonky. And then here's the calm after the storm. And I think that this is such a great image. Okay. All right. So a lot is possible with this center chart. One of my favorite things is the median list price, not list price, but breaking it down by segments. This is huge. Okay. For those of you who have clients in the luxury market, you want to be able to tailor your conversation. This is giving you an overview for all of the zip code. But what if you have the luxury market? Clients are interested in just that high-end properties, right? Well, this is allowing you to give that insight. Top 90 day is the most expensive 25% of properties. The red line is the least expensive 25% of properties. So high end, turn off the noise for everything else and talk about the nature of the market for that particular segment. 2.2 is what they're looking at. Well, what are they looking at for median days on market? Oh, okay. Well, let's take a look. The trend is implying 67 and it's starting to go down. Okay, great. Well, we rerun that algorithm. Although you take into consideration the entire zip code is at 47, which is a strong seller's market. What is it for just the top segment? Rerun that algorithm and you'll learn that it's 44. So not quite as hot, but still a strong seller's market. How does that compare to the least expensive 25% of properties? Okay, well, they're sitting at 61, much more heat there than the top 25%. And then you can add them all back in. Okay, so this allows you to fine tune that conversation. This gives you that 5 years. Now scroll down. This is the trend. This is the 7 day, the real. This is what's happening right now. This allows you to help set expectations. So here you'll see, okay, the least expensive 25% of properties, this is the median. This is the median of the most expensive 25% of properties. If I was moving here and I said, listen, the most I can spend is 725. I can't spend any more than that. What can I expect for my money? Well, you can expect roughly 1,800 square feet. Small lot size compared to others on the market. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a 40-year-old home. And by the way, this is new. List to pending. How long is it taking? 35 days. Where's the heat? One up. So that 2,300 square foot for just around $1 million, that's moving in 3 weeks. That's really great insight to have. So if you're one to have an open house, great. You know what you do? You take this report. You come up, go to share, single page PDF. Convert it to a PDF for print. Attach your business card to it. Okay. Now you have this great document to use as a conversation starter. You can talk about the nature of the market for the zip code, but better yet, talk about the nature of the market for that home. Determine what segment that home falls within. And let's just say it's this 975, 21 days on market. That's great insight because they need to move quick, 3 weeks, right? That allows you to help your clients make better decisions when it comes to real estate. So open house, neighborhood walks, direct mail, farming, this single page PDF is awesome for those things. Listing presentation, great. Share, full report PDF. This is a 6-page report. Attach your business card to it. Use it at every listing presentation, right? Determine what segment that particular seller falls within. Give them some more insight beyond just what's happening in that zip code, okay? So super valuable. You'll see that every page has a series of charts with a description, which is super nice for those who are like, okay, this is all great, but it's too much. Well, just read about it, right? Super insightful, nicely laid out, easy to utilize, okay? Every report has the ability to go ahead and convert to either one of those PDFs. You also have the ability to share on social media. That's another great way to keep your clients informed about what's happening in the market. Now, if you're looking at a citywide and you've been getting a citywide report, don't forget about the search functionality here. This allows you to search any area of interest, okay? So if you want to dive down into a zip code, if you've got a client coming from a distance, hey, coming from Los Gatos, right? You want to know about the nature of the market where I'm coming from? Ugh, maybe not, right? Only 15 pieces of inventory. Super hot, right? But it's just not. Look at 7 days on the market. This is my segment. Okay. Super insightful. So you can run that report. All right. So hopefully you see some use cases. Again, having one-on-one conversations with your clients, super important. Keep them informed, empower them to better understand the market as they go through that process with you. It's really helpful. You can help with open houses, any farming, direct mail, right? So single page PDF when you feel like, hey, that's just enough information, right? But when you want to bring out the big guns, don't forget the 6-page. That one is ideal as well. Listing presentations, onboarding of new buyers, situations where the more information, the better type of scenario is great. Remember that we have these at countywide, we have them at citywide, we have them at zip code specific. And if you're sitting there wondering, hey, well, what about that specific little niche neighborhood or this little community or this development? We do not have reports at those community levels. But don't forget, you have the segments here. And the segments will help you drill down deeper. They'll help you better understand the nature of the market for maybe that niche neighborhood. I used this report to sell my house in San Jose before we moved to where I'm at now. We happened to be in that high segment. There were no comps. And so we used this report with the appraisal process, right? Because we were able to show the differences between those segments. So I know how valuable that they can be. So I encourage you to really wrap your arms around the segments and really utilize that in a way that will give insight that your clients wouldn't have otherwise. Okay. All right. So hopefully you are inspired. If you've not looked at market reports before and you're interested, definitely reach out to Sarah, or Sarah may say who else to reach out to, but reach out, get access to the reports, start utilizing them. My goal is to help inspire you to use these reports if you haven't, to use these reports in different ways if you have. And if you have any questions, I'm here. I know you guys have limited time, but I'm here and available, so feel free to ask now. Otherwise, if you have questions, reach out to Sarah, and I'm sure we can communicate in that way.
Awesome, Jessica. That was great as always. So if y'all do have any questions, please let us know. I know a lot of times because we just like buckshot so much information to you on these webinars, sometimes it takes a little bit to sink in. And process, or you get on your Altos later and you're like, oh, what did Jessica say? Of course, reach out. All of our sales team is trained as well in the Altos software too. So reach out to them, reach out to Jessica, let us know how we can help you guys. This is just, once again, one of the amazing tools that we have available for you and your clients here at Landmark Title. I'm going to go ahead and finish up with some of the classes that we have coming up. Oh, we did get a question, Jessica. How can we how can we get the login info for Altos? Jason, that's going to come from your business development manager. They can send you the invitation for that. So reach out to them. And for anybody that's on, if you're not already working with a business development manager, please shoot me over an email. I'd love to make the introduction to one of our business development managers. We did have some internal changes just recently. So, you may have been working with somebody. I know that we had some people in specific brokerages that got shuffled around. So just reach out to me and I can introduce you. Or like I said, if you're already working with a business development manager, just reach out to them. All right. Speaking of classes, I'm going to go ahead and just quickly run through. We've got tons of activities and classes coming up the remainder of this month going into next month. So speaking of activities, this is a great one. This is our landmark title tours up in the Prescott area. We're kicking those back up for the warm season down here, the nice season up there in Prescott. So the next one is April 24th. It begins at 3. You meet right there in the center of town. If you're interested, reach out to Michelle. It's open to not just realtors. It's open to everyone, including the public. So invite your clients up there, right? It's great to hit up Whiskey Row and learn some history. And then the following day is the next in our series of the Make Your Mark series. We're doing power couples. So this is next Thursday, April 25th. This is an in-person event at our Camelback Lakes training room. Seating is limited for this. So definitely reach out this week. Don't wait till next week to reach out to your business development manager, because we're getting pretty full in this room. So if you want to attend this next week, I really, really recommend it. If you are kind of in that, where am I headed next in my business? Even if you're not, you don't have a spouse or a partner that's in the industry, these are incredible, incredible leaders in our industry that are coming to speak. So find out about their business. Make sure you reach out and RSVP for that next Thursday morning. And then, of course, we've got the surprise home tour. This one was yesterday, but we're going to do it again next month. So reach out to Renee if you've got a home and surprise, or you want to go on tour and surprise. And then, of course, we've got the Moon Valley home tour and our Build More Luxury tour. Moon Valley is third Thursdays. Build More Luxury is the fourth Wednesdays. These go off without a hitch every single month, guys. So if you want to hit up these home tours, reach out and let us know. We'll get you details. And then going already through to May. Yes, we're almost to May. I'll be down at the Keller Williams Goodyear office. We're going to be working on Breakthrough Broker. This is another one of our great tools that we have here at Landmark Title for you to utilize. So it is tool month, April. We're going to take it into May. If you want to attend that, you don't even have to be a Keller Williams agent if you want to attend that one. And then continuing education on Wednesday, May 8th, we've got our tax code for the 1031 exchange. This is going to give you 3 hours of legal issues, 9 to noon down off Camelback Road as well, if you need some more continuing education. And then May 14th, our very own Tiffany Hopgood will be speaking down in Tempe on fraud in real estate. This is a big, big topic right now. If you are not staying educated and up to date with what's going on regarding fraud, you are doing yourself and your clients a disservice. So if you're in the East Valley, come on out. There's wine tasting afterwards. It's great. I was actually down at this location yesterday. It's a good location. It's going to be a great class. And then the following day, May 15th, 3 hours of disclosure. This one is going to be at the Atrium in Arrowhead, where our Arrowhead office is located. It's going to be from 9 to noon. So if you need 3 hours of disclosure, get signed up. Once again, this is another seating is limited for. And then you get to go from CE to a happy hour. Yes, we do it all here. Happy hour, May 15th, following that CE class, 4 to 6 p.m. This is going to be at Ariba's Mexican Grill in Glendale. We're going to have prizes. You can get out and mix and mingle. If you're going to the CE class, do yourself a favor and head on over to the happy hour too. Everybody after 3 hours of CE needs some happy time. And then finishing up the month of May, on May 22nd, we will be hosting another class at that Tempe Total Wine with Deanna Bone. She will be going over the buyer broker agreement. A lot of people have a buyer broker. A lot of people know that they now need one based on what's going on with NAR. So come on out. You'll learn a little bit more about how you can protect yourself and your clients through these changes. And that's it, guys. We'll be wrapping up next week. I think we're going to do Breakthrough Broker. We may have Smart Direct, our Walking Farms app, but they may come back on. They had technical difficulties last week, so I'd love to get them back on. So next week's kind of in the air. We're going to cover more tools, just not exactly sure which one it will be. And that is it for us, guys. Of course, we've got our survey. If you haven't filled that out yet, please take a moment and give us some feedback on the webinar. And of course, thank you to Jessica for coming on today. Thank you to our business development management team. Let us know if you would love an introduction or you're already working with Beth, Keith, Mary, Michael, Michelle, Patty, and Renee. And of course, thank you to Landmark Title for allowing us to bring you Marketing Matters every single Wednesday and bring you great tools like Altos and all of the wonderful things that we offer. We have 7 offices across the valley to service all of your title and escrow needs, as well as our Prescott and 2 in Nevada. So please think of us on your next contract. We look forward to working with you, and have a great week, everyone.